Welcome to the Winners and Losers Show. Hello, everybody. My name is Hank Thompson. I'm the host of the show. I'm not going to do the old intro. It starts to just come rolling right out. I think I've got the audio working properly. Let's hope I do. I'm checking it right now as I just realized it's needed to check it. Yeah, okay. It's recording on separate tracks. Man, that's annoying. Last episode, 165. This is episode 166. But the last one was this confessional. I don't know if you confess to autism or something, but this really important kind of thing about autism, about really core parts of myself and things that I was trying to convey in my weird rambling style or whatever. I hope some people are able to track the way I present things. But of course, I fucked up the goddamn audio. It was so frustrating. It used the back of the camera, actually picked up the audio, which is, at least I know I have decent backup from the camera, which was fine. It's just good. It's a decent camera. But that was annoying. Yeah, because I had been doing a ton of work inside OBS, the recording software, to like set things up better. And I was, cleaning it. It was a result of like doing work on it. And I just missed a detail. So whatever, that's not that interesting. Welcome to the show. Trying some more. That's what we do around here. We try more. It's usually not enough, but it's more than nothing. And somewhere in the middle between nothing and enough, that's where I live. Right in between. So, careening between those two barriers. And of course, I certainly land in the nothing category plenty of times. But I have been received the glorious news. I don't know if you heard that people signed up on my Patreon. There's 3 patrons now. There's 3 people there. And to those folks, you are angels. You are fallen demons or angels. What are you? Are you risen demons or fallen angels? I don't know why I have to be about heaven characters. But holy crap, I can't believe it. It was stunning. This is completely how you're not supposed to grow a show. You don't just start begging for money from people while you've done like 3 things or 1 podcast plus a bunch of video game stuff. I am posting crap on Winners and Losers. We also did a discussion review podcast about the Super Mario Brothers movie. If anybody's a fan of haute couture content, check out Suckprofessor for me and my roommate talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie. He saw it. I didn't, but we're both lifelong nerds and gamers, and we had a fun chat, and I have a little audience on Suckprofessor that likes our shit for some reason. So that's cool. But Patreon people now showed up. It's like up to $7 a month, I think, which is infinitely more than I was making when I was at $0 a month, which is incredible. Like, that's just a little wind in the sail. Like, it's like I've been laying out here on this boat going like, man, there's no wind, nothing, just fucking nothing. I can taste the air. It's just like, you know how when there's no wind, it's just like chemicals sit in your mouth. I don't know if that makes any sense. Does that make sense? The pollution has time to be detected better. Maybe, I don't know where that, but a little, it's like the wind started a little ripple in the sails. Like, and I was like, oh, and I leapt up because I'm covered in tattoos and abs and tanned skin. This is a boat metaphor. And holy crap, the wind is starting to move a little bit. The sail is fluttering. So we're hoping for many thousands of dollars more, which I think we can get to that by tomorrow. I think that's one of I think if we just set our sights high enough, if we squeeze real hard, we might reach that. But that is amazing, honestly. And the YouTube channel has now climbed up to 90 subscribers. It had dipped down to 85, then it was bumped up to 86, and now it's up to 90. So that's a milestone. Hey, maybe we'll reach 100, at which point I will take off my shirt live on stream, and then we will do the real face reveal, because I have a second face. I am actually Quaid. I have who is the little guy that lives? Is Quaid the carrier, or Quaid's the mob boss of Mars who lives on the man's chest? Is that how that goes? I don't know. But so yeah, that's cool. I was thrilled though. Thank you guys for signing up. I'm going to try not to let you down, even though I think I already have. I haven't done the Unemployable Show yet. One hallmark of doing a show called The Unemployable Show is that you might prove why you're unemployable because you don't follow through on things you say you're going to, which makes you unemployable. That's just how it works, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah, really fun. Check out the Valheim stuff if you're interested in that. went on a nice little tear about entropy. It's like my favorite thing to talk about. I just want to ramble about entropy at most times of the day. And I solved the mystery of the Big Bang, just in case anybody wants to know. I thought it through a little bit, and I share that in the most recent Valheim streams. It's number 6 of that one, where and it's like a 4-hour thing. So the few brave warriors who survive long enough within there, although I am putting chapter markers in too, if I want to just jump ahead to the entropy bit. I don't know why I'm trying to tease that. Like, who the fuck would be like, oh man, pull over, honey, we got to go listen to this guy's ramble about sand and disorder. So yeah, got some stories picked out today. We're gonna try to keep this under an hour, which is not gonna happen. But let's just get into it without all the goddamn rambling. Thanks again for those people. If I start to get sincere, I'll fucking tear up. But thank you guys for turning up on that Winners and Losers Patreon, man. That's so fucking cool. What do we got here? I got OBS set up to work. I need to do like less prep. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Close. There she is, Dianne Feinstein. I wasn't going to start with this. I wanted to do the HBO thing first. HBO has announced a new Game of Thrones spinoff or new series. This is according to Deadline. Hold on. Breaking news. Alec Baldwin criminal charges to be dropped in fatal Rust shooting. And man, it must be nice to be a celebrity. You get to murder anybody you want. You get to kill people all day long and get away with it. This sucks. No, I think that is bullshit. He was a boss on that set, though. He was like a producer, so he was part of the arranging money and whether they should have used union work, which they didn't, which is why they had problems on that set. Anyway, let's stay focused here. So, Game of Thrones, Dunk and Egg prequel, Knight of Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, gets HBO series order. The Dunk and Egg thing, now that's when I first read that, I was like, that just sounds like some lame pun. Like it's an above average pun. I've heard much worse, clearly. But here we go. Another Game of Thrones series is on the way. HBO announced during the Warner Brothers Discovery Max presentation Wednesday that it's given a series order to, and here's the title, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, based on George R. Martin's Dunk and Egg fantasy novella. So he I don't know anything about it, and it must sound like a real big rube here, but he must have a thing called Dunk and Egg. Which is the title, huh? That's a whole freaking thing. He titled stuff. I get it. It's not a bad pun. And actually, I think George R. R. Martin does a good job with like, I read the Game of Thrones books. There's a jester character. That's not like a big one. It's like a scene where a guy shows up and he does all these funny little things. The way he describes it is very, like, I don't know what's accurate. What the hell do I know? But they weren't like comedians of the era of what we picture as being like the funny, but they had weird little, they were like the Johnny Knoxville, the Jackass guys. They were like basically that. They did like physical pranks and pratfall sort of slapstick humor, but they also were sort of like magicians, I think. But I just remember him describing this, comedian showing up to this, jester character showing up to this like party of lords and shit and like bouncing around and like making birds appear and then like eating things and spinning, like doing kind of cartwheels. So like, but I think there was times of that era where they weren't all frowning constantly. So like, this is plausible that there's some kind of bad pun existed back then. I don't know. The way he uses English is above average. The Game of Thrones prequel series is written and executive produced by Martin and Ira Parker. House of the Dragons co-creator, executive producer, showrunner Ryan Condal, and Vince Gerardis will also executive produce. So everybody loves good Vince Gerardis. So here's the official logline. A century before the events of Game of Thrones, two unlikely heroes wandered Westeros. A young, naive, but courageous knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his diminutive squire, Egg, set in an age when the Targaryen line still holds the Iron Throne, and the memory of the last dragon has not passed from living memory. Great destinies, powerful foes, and dangerous exploits all await these improbable and incomparable friends. So it's an unlikely animal friendship. It's like when a dog is buddies with a goat. When a chicken is friends with a fox. The most adorable kind of friendships. We got a tall guy who's friends with his employee, Egg, the squire. So Duncan and Egg. Dunk and Egg. Well done. You got to dunk your egg somewhere. You don't dunk eggs. You dunk donuts. You dunk... What else do you dunk? You dunk basketballs. You don't dunk an egg. You dunk for apples? Is that dunking? Dunking feels like a word that doesn't, not, what else do you dunk? I will, when you dip your shrimp in a shrimp cocktail, I think you could call that dunking. Right? Let me know in the comments below. Known as Dunk and Egg, the drama was one of several prequel ideas in development at HBO behind the House of the Dragon. The project, which went through multiple writers, had emerged as frontrunner for a series order over the past several months. So, like, guys, we got to do some more Game of Thrones stuff. That crap's made us a lot of money. Look at all these Legos. HBO has just started production on a second season of Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon. There's also a Jon Snow spinoff in the works. I wonder if it's young Jon Snow and he's just a lowly scumbag bastard, or maybe after he becomes the hero of Westeros. Does he live? He's alive at the end of the one, right? I don't remember. Why would I know that? I remember him squeezing out of all the horses and the horse butts and the humans, where it seemed like he should have been suffocating, but he got out because he's a main actor. I really liked House of the Dragon, actually. Bit of a slow build, I thought, but it seemed like it had a sense of purpose from its outset. That was recently on HBO. I've only watched it once. I usually like watching these kinds of things multiple times before I get too serious about keeping it real on a podcast. But I was kind of bored with the first few episodes, not like extremely despondent, like, oh, I can't take it. I was just like, all right, come on, let's see where this, and then, we get a bunch of white people having weird violence and fucking each other. So, that's pretty much all I ever hope for out of a movie about people who wear feathers and bows and around their necks, and then they run around and get into violence fights because nobody wants to work. None of the leaders want to do any of the actual work. They just want to control people who do the fishing and the sweeping and the poop stuff. All these rich leaders of everything are just like, they just want to not work. Everything to avoid farming. Everything to avoid having to pick up a tool for a fucking first time in their life. So, but they, at least back in those days, they put children on dragons, and there were no learner's permits. They didn't have any regulations, so he ended up with a lot of dragon poop that had children bones in it. There you go. That's a fun one. Yeah, that's fun. All right, good. I like Game of Thrones. So it's just everything. I'm always just sort of hoping. I'm always rooting for it. Just like, let's hope it's good. Let's see. By the way, Picard is the season finale is out, I think, ready to be watched. It's here this Thursday on April 20th. And man, that is I'd say I've been really enjoying season 3 here. Probably going to do something more talking about that at some point. I just realized I have that to look forward to watch tonight when I cook my ribs. I'm cooking ribs. I've been eating terribly lately, actually, but gonna get some ribs cooked. That's my health food. At least I'm gonna avoid eating the bucket of Chinese food that I would prefer to eat, because oh man, I love a bucket of Chinese food. It's so good. So okay, but by the way, HBO recently also did this thing where I just brought up a Reddit thread where people are talking about this. This is on HBO Max. They're dropping the HBO brand. So there's been all these mergers. I don't have the whole bead here, but like Discovery merged with Warner, and then Discovery Warner bought HBO or merged with HBO, and then it was HBO Go, and then it was HBO Max, and now they're going to call it Max. Like, if you have the two things, you have like this hallowed institution of HBO, or the word Max, which is a nice word. I mean, Max is also, it's a common name for like lead characters. It's a very one syllable, nothing wrong with that word, but it's super generic. Max, maximum. Max as a name is kind of boring because it's so overly used. No offense to anybody, any of the Maxes out there. It's a good name. It's like plural of Hank. If there are lots of Hanks, it'd be Hanks. That doesn't matter. Okay. So someone here is saying Max is not the same thing. Oh yeah, so people confuse it with Cinemax. But HBO as a brand is like, there are generations of people who have positive feelings. As a kid, for me, I think my dad had HBO briefly after the divorce. But like, it wasn't something I always had access to. And so whenever I was at someone's house who had HBO, or we got to watch something on HBO, and I think over time HBO came around a little bit more prominently, but you'd see the opening sequences, the THX, blah. So there's all these kind of like powerful kind of formative memories of HBO really standing out among the pack of stuff. And I don't think that's a very uncommon feeling for someone. I'm in my early 40s. So people over my age, people below my age are going to have these affiliations with this brand, and they're just dropping it. You're just going to chop it off. I don't know the whole story though. Like I guess it's plausible that this is just the streaming, I think, or just some sort of new, the way these tech companies are all just sort of interbreeding and farting around and all this stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm really reading here off this Reddit thread. This one is from Reddit R Marketing. The person is taking quite a bit of umbrage. Seriously, can anyone here think of any good reason to dissociate your product with a brand as renowned for quality content as HBO? Also, the aesthetic of their app is being changed to blue, which is an insane decision because their purple design language was unique to HBO Max. Prime and Paramount Plus are also blue, and I can confirm that. Why are so many companies so bad at marketing nowadays? And then there's some discussions here. People have their opinions. I don't know why I thought I'd be reading Reddit threads here on this episode. Right on. I'll just scroll that a little bit. Hit pause if you want to read that shit if you're on YouTube. So yeah, I just think that's really goofy though. I just think like the loss of dropping something like HBO from your branding, it seems ridiculously short-sighted or under just some kind of managerial decision making that it doesn't seem to be tracking, I guess, from my weird perspective. Well, here's someone that seems to have some insight. The major mistake was appointing David Zaslav, CEO of Discovery, to the CEO of Warner Discovery and essentially forcing Jason Kilar, CEO of Warner Media, to leave. Kilar was a founding member and former CEO of Hulu. Whoa. He knows how to make a streaming service a success and largely made HBO Max a success. Zaslav only knows cable TV. They don't know what they're doing with this merger, and it took them over a year to even figure out how to join the two streaming services marketing. Marketing and branding can come later. The whole merger was poorly executed from the beginning. Well said, GHTSPD on Reddit. Good job. Whatever. I mean, I don't know. Who cares, honestly, all big picture stuff. But there's the main point is that the strike that the Writers Guild has authorized should be supported because the profits that these companies make off these content of creative people is enormous, and they're trying to replace people. Even the next stage is the AI replacement army that's going to come forward and further degrade our culture. So that's good, but at least some rich people who don't need money will get more money. One thing I've been wanting to do more on the show is science-y stuff and kind of cover sort of, I like the whole breadth. There might be a weird frog or maybe some kind of interesting frog that comes around every once in a while that we could talk about. But what I've been really enjoying, or one of my bailiwicks, my pommel horses, is space. Big space guy. Love all of it. I like the whole science behind the rockets and the propulsion systems. I like the astronomy. I like the data collection. The part of our amazing ability to capture light and we call it data. It just because a major part of astronomy is computer processing, is running these immense amounts of data through these big computer things. Also the modeling, the sort of theoretical modeling. I'm not saying I have a favorite, but I sort of hope to do some stories about this kind of thing. Well, that's kind of a criticism from an anti-capitalist perspective. Not that that's going to be the default of every single space story, but it seems to me that turning capitalists loose into space, giving them access to things like that shouldn't be subjected to capitalist interests, like the moon, Mars, the area around Earth, is risky. Let's just put it that way. I don't know if we're going to see the same. We're not going to see a different kind of responsibility from the people who are trashing the Earth to make themselves and their thousands of generations of children wealthy. It's an absurd notion that they'll look out for the interests of actually a species. Like, how do you guide a species forward into a technological future? One where that's not going to lead to the destruction of the planet, or one that empowers humanity's potential, our artistic potential, our potential to feel safe. That's one potential that we're so far from being realized, because none of us have ever existed in a fully realized community ever. You get some decent doses of it here and there, but no one you've known was raised by someone who was, or modeled after that, of the notion of feeling truly secure, truly having backup, truly so much so that it's completely taken for granted. Yeah, that's a long way away. If we ever even tried to get back to that, but because they fight every stage, anybody trying to get back to that. So anyway, what I have on screen here is this guy Jim Free. This is leading NASA's deep space human exploration activities as the associate administrator for exploration systems development. He writes, March 30th, 2023. Today, I announced the new Moon to Mars program office reporting to me under the exploration systems development. Okay, all right. The office will implement this schedule, budget, and architecture to build a long-term lunar presence and plan the long lead items for human missions to Mars. A strategy and architecture office will complement the program office and this is really boring. Great podcasting, dumbass. And be responsible for architecture definition based on NASA's Moon to Mars objectives. The mission directorate will develop an integrated master plan to expand humanity's presence in the solar system. Okay. He's pleased to announce that we've selected Amit Kshatriya, as the head of the Moon to Mars program office. Amit is a fantastic choice to lead the team to implement our Moon to Mars architecture, and I'm excited for him to step up into this role. Let's click on the NASA link. So yeah, we got exciting new developments as we're trying to coordinate this whole attempt to get to Mars. There are some interesting space updates, space programs being developed. I didn't do any prep to really. I haven't watched some space stuff in a little while, in a month or two, but I'm seeing all these words here that are tripping me up here. But speaking of which, though, one of the possible vehicles, there's a real strong. This is kind of what I was saying a little bit earlier. Push to commercialize space, to produce, other than beyond just the satellites that are flying everywhere. There's Musk has Starlink, and there's these private companies launching crap up into space constantly, and other nations are developing their space programs much more, like India, Japan, China, much more than 10 years ago, meaning they're making lots of progress. And so all sorts of stuff is just like, I'm always picturing Earth from far away and just seeing the little candles lighting off, sending stuff up there, leaving stuff up there. The debris problem is a huge risk. I know there's a lot of work in debris mitigation and tracking and possibly capturing or redirecting so that it just burns up into the Earth itself and becomes just highly chemicalized, toxic pollution where it's safer. This guy's smiling at me too much here on this video. Sorry, I've got the director there. But there's some interesting kind of simulations about how debris can cause, like, runaway debris. So if two items collide and then they break into smaller pieces, suddenly you've expanded the amount of risk that occurs around that in the orbital trajectory of that, which could spread and then break other parts of defunct satellites or currently usable satellites, and then create like a runaway or sort of a snowballing effect of debris that accelerates and then sort of captures the whole Earth, surrounds the Earth in a kind of wall that's not super thick. It's really big. We have to keep that in mind when you see those little simulations or little pictures of like all the debris things flying around Earth. Those are misleading because the size of a pixel is way bigger than the size of what the actual, even like a refrigerator sized piece of something flying around. There's lots of space in space, even in the near Earth area where they're traveling at 17,500 miles to maintain orbit around the planet. But this stuff is moving very fast, and it is all kind of tumbling around. And there's micro impacts. There's a lot of ways for stuff to go wrong up in space. So that's one way that we're going to let the capitalists mess everything up. But hey, maybe somebody will come up with a solution, and then they'll make a bunch of money off a solution that they caused. So that's sort of the system we've got. yeah, I don't know what else to get into as far as this goes. I'm just excited to maybe do some more stuff about the moon and about getting to the moon. I know China has a planning a human mission pretty soon, I think. I'll dig into it more. I'm realizing how ignorant I sound just doing this right now. So I'll add some space stuff to my diet and I'll regurgitate it into the podcast. This Artemis ship is what's tripping me up here. I know that that's like the United States mission to reach the moon. That's right. But today actually, Elon Musk's Starship. God, I fucking hate that guy. Oh, he's such a freaking tool. It's just like we all have to deal with this weird dumb putz. Because he's wealthy, because he's got money. First today, he's in the news for two reasons. His Starship blew up. We're gonna watch that. But here, this is the tweet. Now he's I don't know if you're following the Twitter bullshit. I find myself already rolling my eyes at the decision to talk about this. But he's been wrecking Twitter since he overpaid for it last year. And he was going to take away all the blue checks, which are really vital to have verified users, especially if you're talking about like emergency sort of communications, like weather systems, weather offices, news offices, certain things happening during emergency situations. So they weren't able to remove the blue checks at the beginning of April, but he did change the logo to the Doge dog, which is just everything about this guy's an eye roll. It's just so gross. Ugh, God. I can feel my life energy just draining just thinking about it. So apparently that takes a little bit more technical infrastructure. I guess today they finally were able to get the blue checks gone, although some people, of those who were legacy verified, but if you're paying Elon $8 a month, you get to keep it, or that's how you get your blue check. I don't know. It's all stupid and confusing. LeBron James, apparently, I guess, is notoriously kind of cheap. I mean, I'm not trying to take away like his philanthropic efforts. I think he's done a lot of good in a lot of ways. He's very rich, but like I guess he's known for like some story I read. Not that I was really up on the LeBron James's cheap beat, but in relation to this, he had tweeted something like, "Everybody knows I'm not paying $8 for this guy or whatever." And someone made the point like, "Could you imagine if you got LeBron James to write for your website for free, and now you're trying to charge him $96 so that he could write for you?" It's just like insane. So because the value comes from that these were actually like the major movers and shakers of our world that were somewhat available or kind of available on this goofy website, Twitter. And then I saw some story about LeBron listening to some music in the locker room at some point. I mean, guy's obviously heavily scrutinized everywhere he goes, of course. And like the music stream he had on was playing ads because he wasn't going to pay for the advertising free version of it. So I guess he's kind of cheap for stuff like that, which is more, I'm not trying to spread rumors here. He seems like a great guy. But I guess apparently his this is why this became a story, is that LeBron had, made this one tweet that had gone very viral. And now here's a guy, Alex Heath, writing, as Elon nukes legacy checkmarks today, Twitter is saying some celebs, including King James, are paying for verification even though they aren't. So LeBron's site or LeBron's account says that it's verified, as if he's paying. Alex Heath has a follow-up. Have confirmed that LeBron, who has 52 million followers and has said he won't pay for verification, was emailed by a Twitter employee with the offer to have his sub comped on behalf of Elon Musk. That's in quotes. James did not accept, but his account is showing that he paid anyway. Musk, I guess Stephen King is also having a similar thing showing that he paid when he did not. Alex goes on. Here is Musk responding to our story and confirming that he is paying for some accounts to be verified. So Musk tweeted, I am replying to Titter Daily. They took the W off of it to make it Titter. He writes, I am paying for a few personally. Ugh, what a freak. Which is just further muddying up all the confusion factors. And like, also, aren't you now trying to pretend that, even though he admitted it himself, but that's not an appropriate thing, right? Aren't you inviting lawsuits here? All the impersonators are going to start taking over. You can just pay to look like you're verified, and everybody who has the blue check is now going to be considered someone who's just paying for clout or whatever. Like, it's the entire thing is exactly as degraded and disordered as Elon's personal ethics as a capitalist, as a boss, as a union busting racist. There's all sorts of stories about the racism inside the SpaceX facilities. But like, for him to just like take on like high profile people like LeBron James or Stephen King and then pay for their blue check as if like $8 a month is anything at all to these freaks is, aren't you misrepresenting? Doesn't LeBron have some? I mean, I don't know what the lawsuit would be necessarily, and like the fighting over Twitter verification in lawsuits is certainly not like the thing our world needs necessarily to turn it all around. But you're just misleading everybody. It's just further degrading what levels of trust might have been there at all. And this is going to be ugly. It's going to be really stupid and ugly now that the blue checks the lack of verification is gone. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just dumb. But speaking of dumb, SpaceX had a launch today. This is the other big corporate magic we've gotten to see. Is that SpaceX, if I can find it in my things, here's the CNN. I found it on YouTube. The Starship is the SpaceX's answer, or at least, and I think the United States has provided a lot of funding too. And SpaceX has received a tremendous amount of public support, public money. You know, the self-made billionaires who do it all on the backs of regular working people and then pretend like they did it all themselves. That's the story here. And the Starship is an impressive technological ambitious. It's an ambitious item. They want to be able to reuse a very heavy launch ship. So the fundamental math of space exploration is cost per kilogram. How much does it cost to get something off the ground into space? It's very, very expensive. Tens of thousands of dollars per pound or per kilogram, something like that. It's like, I don't know the numbers, but the more you can lower that, the more you're able to put stuff in space to litter the beautiful cosmos, to build stations, to get things to the moon, to, it's just, the more the cost goes down, then you can start selling even more trips, then you can start having even more people heading up into space. There's problems with the amount of pollution that space travel produces, but sort of we just ignore that because pollution is a fun little trick we play on. It's a prank we're playing on the future. Just like, it's not nice for us now, but really we're not the people who really have to deal with it. We're just billing the future. It's debt to the future. All pollution is just debt to the future. It's involuntarily involving unborn people in your scheme by burdening them with a problem that they're going to have to deal with, that they will not benefit. They will not receive any of the benefits of that problem. You can at least argue that you benefit from the water bottle that you just had because you had transportable water conveniently tucked away next to your iPad in your book bag. And then once you toss the bottle away, the person who's deal with that didn't get any benefit from it, other than that they had to pick up your fucking water bottle, or it breaks down into microparticles, and then their baby's born with a little bit of your water bottle in their brain. Man, well, it's a cute little baby with the water bottle eyeballs. Oh, you got the caps become baby eyeballs. Is that what you want? Is that what you want to feel? I don't think so. So what is Starship though here? Maybe this Reddit thing will work. I don't need to be so cynical about it. Reddit threads are sort of just like little articles written by people, which, if it's obviously you can find a lot of bullshit, but I think there's some interesting stuff on Reddit, obviously, clearly. So someone here is a 3-year-old thread from the SpaceX Lounge, and it's how do you concisely explain Starship, which I thought would be a better way than me trying to explain it. Someone wrote, it's an attempt to build the most capable spaceship in the world in the shortest possible term and by the lowest possible cost. Interesting because the company have already achieved a significant amount of goals that were considered unachievable by a majority of people. Reusable launching was a big step in like a video game technology tree, kind of thing. Okay, here's another one I thought was all right. Starship Super Heavy is a space shuttle designed and built with modern technology so that it actually fulfills the design goal of cheap access to space, unlike the Columbia-class shuttles, which failed miserably at this goal. This will launch a new chapter for humanity. Not enough chapters. We're getting tired of this chapter. We got to get to this next chapter where there's corpses in space. That's what we need. The reason why we don't have rotating orbital hotels, major stations in cislunar space, lunar bases, Mars bases, asteroid mining, and habitats in solar orbit, like people back in the 60s were imagining we'd have by now, is because cheap access to space never materialized. This meant that we couldn't afford to build the infrastructure and space necessary to bootstrap space industry. Now we'll finally be able to do that. Oh, thank God. Industry. We could put industry in space. We could do industry. We could take stuff and use it to build stuff to make money for people who don't need money. Wonderful. Honestly, though, like that's the tension of like what humans do as groups is that in a world I would want to see what humans are able to do with space. So humans are able to achieve technologically with our immense amount of ingenuity and the superpower of collective knowledge that we build up on previous generations, all the way back to the first person who figured out that you can wink when you're kidding. That was a major day of innovation. And there was a foreign guy at a place I worked, and I tried to teach him that Americans wink with both eyes, but I don't think he took it. I don't think he bought it. Too bad. Wasted opportunity. But so I would want to travel space. I'm not against the whole notion. I'm against privatized ownership. I'm against colonial brain bullshit operating in space. The part where we still use ownership. Like one question I wonder is, has there ever been a gun in space? That's something I could probably just Google. But has there been a gun in space? Has someone launched a gun up into space? The only reason I can think why it would be a defensible act is that when they land, you might think that because you're sort of like a military operation. I know in the cosmonauts, this is my prediction is that there probably have been guns in space. I don't think they were necessarily up there so that they could start having gunfights on the Mir space station, which is no longer flying. I think they finally crashed it. But perhaps for when you land on Earth and you need to protect yourself if you land in an area with hostiles or something, but I can see that being the sort of thinking behind a kind of let's plan for all contingencies, and your landing package, your ejection suit will also have a gun in the kit or something like that. Maybe. But will there be guns in space when China and United States and India and other countries start planting flags and putting up borders on the moon? Probably going to be some fucking kind of that. Things are so much more complicated in space, all the remote stuff. It's incredible what we're able to do. But so this person wants to do all these hotels and lunar bases and all this other stuff. And so here, picking up in space necessary to bootstrap space industry. Now we'll finally be able to do that. So you'll see rapid change. What would have cost billions will now cost millions. Projects that previously would have bankrupted the world with costs hundreds of trillions will now be accomplishable by a single nation or large company. Launching a single person was only really affordable by the richest of the rich. Now it will cost as much as first-class transatlantic flight. Space will be open. Oh, finally. Open for business. Bring your pollution, bring your weird little impulses, and let's go put money in space. Yeah, so here's another one real quick. It's the first real spaceship. It's huge, but to accomplish its goals, it can't be smaller. It's designed to be simpler and cheaper to build than disposable rockets a tenth its size. It has two stages, both land by themselves and can fly again after refueling. This again massively reduces costs. That's true. I mean, I'm not like the reusing the ship itself as well as like the launch part, the launch vehicle. Those are big deals. It can launch massive amounts of cargo to low Earth orbit. To go further, one or more extra launches will refuel Starship in low Earth orbit. That's how it can send the same massive amount of cargo anywhere in the solar system. One or more extra launches will refuel Starship in low, so they'll be able to like bring it more fuel up in orbit. It's kind of cool. Its fuel was chosen to be manufacturable on Mars. Creating the fuel for the return trip on Mars makes Mars exploration much cheaper and is a strong motivation to build a permanent base instead of visiting an area once to plant a flag. Yeah, the Mars stuff is really interesting. I know Elon promised we'd be on Mars by now or something. Of course, it's not at all the case. It's sick. It's so gross that fucking guy is involved in any of this. It's just so bizarre that so much human energy sort of circulates around this person, all because we don't tax billionaires out of existence like a sane species would. One more, why not? Because we're gonna watch their fucking ship explode. After Apollo, NASA, this is another person here, .triabolical_. After Apollo, NASA wanted to build a fully reusable shuttle that would provide cheap and regular access to space. Unfortunately, they didn't have the money to develop it, and it isn't clear whether the winged shuttle approach was practical with the technology of the time. So we ended up with the space shuttle, which threw away a large external tank and 2 solid rocket boosters every flight and had a shuttle that took months of work to fly again. Starship is an attempt to achieve NASA's original vision, a rocket that can launch large payloads into orbit without having to throw away any of the launch components. If they are successful, launching a given payload will be anywhere from 10% down to 1% of the current price. So getting something like this to work is a big deal. Like it would be good. It's just gross that it's involved with the fucking world's worst person. Even if Elon was like a non-annoying capitalist, it's still gross that we're like, yeah, well, the vampires need to get their bite out of all this. Otherwise, we won't do anything. So CNN covered today's launch. Let's just hit play. I haven't actually seen it explode yet, so this will be sort of a reaction.
People are cheering. You can hear them there.
Let's listen in, you guys.
T-minus 15 seconds.
13 seconds.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3.
There it goes. A lot of clouds. Flames. It's lifting up. This large black... If a squid had a baby with a penis, is what it looks like. It's up in the air. Little glitch in the video.
Booster after chamber pressure is nominal.
Okay. It looks like someone's trying to launch an orca into space from this angle. Uh-oh, got a flash.
3 seconds into the test flight of the inaugural Starship vehicle.
40 seconds.
Clear to land a pitchover. Propulsion reports first stage engines nominal. What a sight when the ground cameras at Starbase. We're flying at twice the thrust of the Saturn V heading to space.
Twice the thrust. A lot of people getting COVID in that audience.
We're throttled down and throttled back up. Going through the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure.
Uh-oh. They cut away. Now we have 1 minute 15 here.
As the velocity increases, the density
What kind of shot is this?
is decreasing,
Max Q.
lessening stress on the vehicle. The call out, Max Q now. Continuing to watch the first stage.
Something's happening.
Downrange.
Wizard smoke is blowing off. Particles. I don't know.
100 seconds into flight.
100 seconds into flight.
Our next major activity is going to be
Opposition
shutdown
signal,
of
Houston.
the first stage.
Hold on.
Houston tracking station now acquiring the vehicle. With shutdown, we will get separation.
Okay,
of
big
space,
flames here.
super heavy,
Big
in
spark.
addition to the
I don't know.
Starship
I don't know when it blows up.
engines. When Starship separates, we light up 6 engines in a staggered sequence. And if all
I
goes
think it's
well,
happening.
those 6 engines will burn for almost 6.5 minutes. Onboard view from Starship.
Uh-oh.
And there's views of the Raptor engines on the second stage as we prepare for stage separation. Now, after stage separation, the first stage will flip and begin a boost back maneuver for landing in the Gulf.
Okay, it seems to be really rotating down a little bit now. Less gas. I'm trying to be not.
Continuing to fly.
I thought it blew up like right
2
away.
minutes, 40
This is taking a
seconds.
while.
Let's get ready for main engine cutoff.
I would go for one of those.
Restriction cut off.
Beginning the flip for stage separation.
Okay, it seems to be sort of rotating around a bit. It looks like it's going straight down now, or it's sort of flying about. It's following a flight plan set forward by a paper airplane. Yeah, it's just sort of spinning around up there now. It's kind of funny. Come on.
As of right now, we are awaiting stage separation,
It's thinking about it.
where
up
Starship
its
should
mind.
separate from the Super Heavy booster.
This is how I fly in Rocket League. I just get like,
Yeah, Kate, right now it looks like we saw the start of the flip, but obviously we're seeing from the ground cameras the entire Starship stack continuing to rotate. We should have had separation by now. Obviously, this is does not appear to be a nominal situation.
no.
Yeah, it does appear to be spinning, but I
not
do want to
nominal.
remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on
There
the
it goes. Ah. And we have pieces falling to the ground.
As we promised, an exciting end to the Starship inaugural integrated test flight.
It just put 18 years of carbon into the atmosphere. Now, it would be funny if the debris just landed right on the tower, right on the spot where it took off. But no, it actually lands in people's like homes. I saw a bunch of stuff about debris raining down onto the area in eastern, I think it's eastern southern Texas. COVID. Ugh.
Obviously, something just went a little bit wrong despite the cheering you're seeing right now. Let's bring in Miles O'Brien. We did see the launch of the Starship rocket. All was going
Got some bros wearing cool hats. There's Elon sitting there with his dead face.
well. Then it ended with an explosion there, Miles. Explain what happened.
I think Tom, what's the guy? He's really famous. I can't think of his last name. The guy from fucking Saturday Night Fever. Tom. He's famous as shit. I don't know. He could play Elon Musk. That was the thought that I just had. One of the world's most famous people.
There will be a lot of discussion about this. The one thing I did notice, John, as it went up, there was a shot where you could see the bottom of the rocket. As I told you earlier, there are 33 separate Raptor engines on this vehicle. 6 of
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of stuff has to go right. It's fun to make fun of Elon Musk. It's fun to see that go, but first, something this complicated with this sort of never really been done before, you would expect some failure. I don't think it's a surprise that these things are going to have failure. And just like doing stand-up comedy, when you do space launches, you fail in public. You have to kind of take your humiliating lumps with a lot of people looking at it going, oh, there he goes. He just lost. He just can't remember. He sucks. This guy's terrible. And then you throw a beer bottle at him. That's how it works. So this is a space launch. That was the CNN play. Here's space launches, SpaceX's flight. Not that we're going to watch this entire thing. It's like over an hour, but I just bookmarked this spot. This is some good music here. So put on your dancing elbows. Yes. Wait, it's almost over. Yeah! Wow. Okay.
Good
Sorry, that was longer than I thought it was going to be.
Good morning. On your screen is a live view of Starship as it awaits its second attempt at our first ever integrated flight test from Starbase, Texas.
Starbase,
If all goes
Texas.
well-
I don't have all the news in front of me, but I'll probably get to that at some point. Is there's a lot of BS happening with this old Texas operation that's happening in SpaceX as to like why they moved things to I think their headquarters are still in California, not too far from here in Los Angeles, but south of Los Angeles. But I know there's a whole bunch of stuff that are like the kind of things the mainstream press isn't going to get into about the locals being poisoned and having their land messed with and, debris and stuff like that. There's some town where there was some protesters. I remember, I think it was Left Reckoning, the podcast, Matt Leck and David Griscom. They're guys that are part of like the Majority Report sphere, sort of. They were, because David is in Texas, but they were talking to somebody who was in a battle with the mayor from the town, and they were clearly like the officials of the town were clearly like taking I don't know about taking orders, but they were clearly on the side of like the gigantic capitalist institution that's trying to bully its way in over there, like local townspeople who'd been living there and minding their own business until, which is what with a planet you're going to need space, you're going to need land to ruin if you're going to do stuff like this. So that means usually you fuck with someone who the police and the civilian officers of the government aren't going to give a shit about when we're a capitalist-based society. So, but let's listen to a little bit of this.
Well, we hope to see our Starship spacecraft and Super Heavy booster, which we collectively call Starship, lift off together for the first time in exactly 33 minutes from now. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kate Tice, Quality Systems Engineering Manager here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California.
And I'm Shiva Bharadwaj, a Space Operations Engineer here at SpaceX. Now, if you've been following along,
they got the regular people doing this stuff. Let's hear what this guy says.
You'll know that we stood down from our initial launch attempt on Monday, and that was due to a frozen pressurization valve on the Super Heavy.
I wish he'd said frozen chicken McNugget. They found a frozen McNugget that a engineer had left. Let's skip ahead a little. I'm just going to randomly pick some spots. We'll probably watch the launch again.
Of liftoff, just to make sure that all those engines are able to control their full range of control authority.
One thing to note, those Raptor engines are completely designed and manufactured in-house. They are, as many of you know that have been following.
Didn't buy them off Alibaba? Is that what you're trying to say? Let's skip ahead, 24. Oh, no, we're already in the air. Wait a minute. Hold on, we got an animation. This is more like a what are we going to do with it? This might be worth watching.
Huge amount of cargo and a lot of people to orbit and have a pretty quick turnaround. The idea is to effectively reuse launch vehicles just like airplanes.
Yeah, imagine if you had to wait for a new airplane to be constructed every time you wanted to fly. You'd rarely go anywhere, and for most of us, it would be completely unaffordable. In order for us to get to Mars and back with lots of people, lots of cargo, multiple times, reusability really is a must.
In advance of our first missions to Mars, Starship will execute a number of missions with both cargo and people, starting with Earth orbit and eventually expanding to the Moon and beyond.
Now, in the near term and a bit closer to home, Starship will also be critical to other programs. Once fully operational, it'll deliver the full-size and upgraded version of our Starlink satellites, and that's super exciting because our next-generation satellites represent a step forward in Starlink's capabilities and will allow us to connect millions of more people around the world with high-speed internet.
And we'll give even more control to the megalomaniacal madman who we allow to have billions of dollars buying media companies and also influencing humanity's push towards the future. I think in the long haul, I hope in the version of human society where we aren't just brought down to the few hundred years of warlordism while runaway climate change completely renders humanity's consciousness extinct. The Elon Musk story will be a blip on a long thing, like in a science fiction author's perspective. Like this is a period of time. It feels very real because we're all alive during it, but it's just like when you look back in history and you see the 1600s, the 1200s, the Egyptian era, all that stuff is just like it was all very real at that time too. I don't know how if they perceived about the Starship coming up, but let's hope that we're living through the death throes of capitalism and the last era of being subjected to these psychos like Elon Musk and these, eugenics embracing crazy monsters. Wait a minute. I'm not God damn it. Fucking shit. God damn it. I didn't have any of this in this video. God damn it. All right. I'm back. Edit. That sucks. I had OBS, I messed up. Everything I've been showing on screen was in the preview, not in the program. So it's in studio mode, which gives you two versions, and I hadn't transitioned it over. So now you can actually see. That's really irritating. All right, well, let's move on. Let's try not to wallow too much in that. God, this is where people who do shows have like a crew around them so that they can. So you still get mistakes like that, but God, doing this all, Jesus. Not that that's my goal, honestly. That's just such a simple, easy thing to avoid. Fuck. Okay, that's it. I'm drinking some caffeine. All right. Well, let's hit play. Now that's in a goddamn window. Motherfucker. All right.
To watch webcasts.
Watch webcasts. We're gonna let the satellites out so that Elon can put webcasts in everybody's thing, or maybe like limit information access to soldiers during wars and inject yourself into global international politics because we have freak psychotic capitalists controlling data as it beams throughout space. Come on. So we're playing it.
Exciting a future ahead of us. But first, let's talk a little about how we got to where we are today.
Now, Starship's testing ramped up in July of 2019 with our Starhopper prototype, sort of a short version
fast.
of the Starship that we see today. There's a great photo of it. It was just over 18 meters tall. It had a single Raptor engine, and we had it to test fly and perform low-level altitude maneuvers and attempt landing. The initial test flight or hop reached about 20 meters in altitude. That was followed by the one that you've got on your screen here. This was our 150-meter altitude hop. We went up, took a little jaunt away, about 100 meters or so away from the launch pad, used that Raptor engine to fly and actually land. And actually, this hopper is actually down at Starbase now.
Yeah, I love this shot. It's just so fun to see it fly. After a series of 100.
It's going at 1.5x speed, by the way. So let's just skip ahead to the launch. I don't know if you guys want to see all that. I need to end this show so I can get to work editing it. It's going to take forever, man. God damn it. I mean, I usually kind of rewatch these, at least these days I have been. But that is really annoying. All right, so we're skipping through. Countdown hold for the final launch checkouts. Hold on. Okay. All right, here we go. This is the SpaceX stream. Oh. Regular speed. I'm turning the volume down on YouTube, and I'm going to go faster. 1.75x. Do it! I just want to watch it blow up again.
We're in a pitch over. The Pulsar reports first stage engines nominal. What a sight when the grand cameras at Starbase. We're flying at twice the thrust of the Saturn V heading to space.
Go! Go humanity! Go!
Going through the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure. As the velocity increases, the density of the atmosphere is decreasing.
That is kind of cool, though, to see this array of different engines firing. And actually, the little information bit at the lower third on the SpaceX stream has like a small diagram with like dots showing which engines are on or which ones are off. If it's accurate, we can assume they are.
Lessening stress on the vehicle. The call out next to you now. Continuing to watch the first stage as we head downrange. 100 seconds into flight.
2x.
Our next major activity is going to be shutdown of the first stage. Houston Tracking Station now acquiring the vehicle. In the shutdown, we will get separation of Starship and Super Heavy and ignition of the Starship engines. When Starship separates, we light up 6 engines in a staggered sequence, and if all goes well, those 6 engines will burn for almost 6.5 minutes. Onboard view from Starship. And there's views of the Raptor engines on the second stage as we prepare for stage separation. And after stage separation, the first stage will flip and begin a boost back maneuver for landing in the Gulf.
All right, starting to rotate around now, losing control. Let's go back to 1.5x.
2 minutes 40 seconds. Let's get ready for main engine cutoff. beginning the flip for stage separation.
We're waiting. All right, 1x speed. Now it's the normal speed. As it blows up again. This is boring, probably. Come on! I got viewers watching here. I'm about to get on Patreon, but this is boring. Everybody in the crowd is like, oh crap.
As of right now, we are awaiting stage separation, where Starship should separate from the Super Heavy booster.
Yeah, Kate, right now it looks like we saw the start of the flip, but obviously we're seeing from the ground cameras the entire Starship stack continuing to rotate. We should have had separation by now. Obviously, this is does not appear to be a nominal situation.
Yeah, it does appear to be spinning, but I do want to remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
There it goes. This is just icing.
And there, as you saw, as we promised, an exciting end to the Starship inaugural integrated test flight.
Exciting. Let's see how they take it when they come back. We got all the people cheering.
Everyone here absolutely pumped to clear the pad and make it this far into the test flight, the first integrated flight of the booster and the Starship vehicle.
There's the putz himself.
First test flight of Starship, and the goal was to gather the data, and as we said, clear the pad and get ready to go again. So you never know exactly what's going to happen, but as we promised, excitement is guaranteed. And
There you go. Excitement guaranteed. Isn't that nice? Okay. All right. So the final thing, it's fine. I get it. Whatever. There's more to say, but I don't know why I didn't bring it. Maybe we'll do this at the next one. I was going to make fun of Diane Feinstein. We'll do that. We'll do that the next one. We're already at an hour here. So, okay, that's fine. That's okay. I got to get to editing. I'm going to record everything I just did in this thing, and then I'll do it. I've come up with a solution already. It won't be that bad. It's just really irritating. It's just so easy to fix. God damn it. That's okay, though. That's why we do repetitions. That's why we're iterating. This is actually kind of like my own Starship launch failure. I tried, I hoped, and I failed. But next time we'll learn. Excitement is always guaranteed. What did that guy just say?
Starship, we said, clear the pad and get ready to go again. So you never know exactly what's going to happen, but as we promised, excitement is guaranteed.
There you go.
And Starship gave us a rather spectacular end, what was truly an incredible test thus far.
All right, they cleared the launch pad. Wow. Okay, good. All right. Well, damn it. Really irritating. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's quit bitching. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. More coming up. Check out patreon.com/winners and losers if you'd like to support Valheim more. I'm actually going to film some Valheim tonight. I'm excited about that. We got a big wolf battle going on. I've actually figured out a great way to murder them, so that's fun, and steal their resources. So we'll be doing more of that. I'll probably complain about how bad I am at putting videos on the internet, like I am right now. So no worries. I got some ribs I got to get into the oven, and that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Another great episode in the can. Excitement, as always, is guaranteed. Bye.